Well, we have airplanes here now. Some guy showed up. But this guy, what are you doing? Drive in. This is the spot for oversized loads. Like he can park over there in duty free, like in the middle of the frame. But over there's a limit, like 15 minutes. So this guy just, and he parked like this. I wanted to go there where the red truck now is, right? But I'm too long. And so now that red truck, he blocked this guy. So if this driver decides to leave, I don't know if he has enough room in there in front of his truck and in front of that red guy. But the red guy did the right thing, because this is not a spot like what? Probably his customs paperwork is not ready or something, but you cannot sit like this at the border. Like I'm sitting here because I was told to wait. I cannot go across the bridge, so this is U.S. side over here, right? That's duty free, and that's the Peace Bridge. Peace Bridge in the distance there, and they were working, like he said, filling up a generator or something. Like basically, they said wait, and so I got the approval. I got everything is cool. Well, in this load, another interesting thing is that this load, it's one of those things where this U.S. company is doing some work in Canada, right? So I'm going to a mine, and they told me to stop here, even though it's not going in bond or anything, but it's kind of like a temporary entry, what they call tools of the trade, And they asked me a few times. They said, please make sure you stop on the U.S. side and go check in, because normally, you don't do that. Normally, when you cross the border, and that's a confusing point. That was confusing for me when I started this, but you only stop on the opposite side, right? You never stop. Let's say if you're coming from U.S. to Canada, you don't have to stop on the U.S. side. You just, like all these guys over here, they just keep going. Like the U.S. is here behind the barrier. You cannot even enter there unless you have a permission, and unless they erase that the barrier, right? So you just keep going here on the bridge, and then you cross the river, and you check in with there's booth just like these booths over here, and on the Canadian side, right? And you see here one unlucky guy got pulled in for X-ray, that driver, and I see these guys just keep going, and so that's how we usually do it. But the customer told me specifically, make sure you check in, and they gave me a couple of forms, and I see on that form there's like one field says like there's a empty spot for the US Customs, and then below that there's another empty spot, and it says certificate/on return. And that's why, so basically I went in, there's a building behind me over there, and I showed them this. What do you have? I said, well, the customer told me to check in with you guys because it's a temporary entry. It's gonna come back in a month or so. All right, have a seat. And so you put all the papers on a tray, and I'm thinking, and usually you must have your name somewhere there, because they're gonna call you on the speaker to come over. And a couple of times, I had some paperwork and there was no name in there, but I guess now they saw. Oh yeah, it said the carrier. I gave him a copy of the bill of lading, and on the bill of lading it says carrier Sergei Drachik, And so they found that, and I said a couple of minutes there, then I hear on the speaker it says Sergey. Okay. By the way, I wanna say something. Like these guys over here, at least in Buffalo, never any issues, pronouncing my name, and the same on Fort Erie. Sarnia. When sometimes I have something that I have to go check in with the Canadian Customs, like a manual clearance, and also Canadian officers, maybe because they like that U in there in the middle, because that's how my official name is spelled. Makes it easy for everybody to read, everybody says Sergey. Okay, so these guys said, Sergey. I go there and the guy asked me a couple of questions. And then he filled out that part for the entry. And then he says, make sure they bring it back. Like whoever's taking this machine back to US, they have to stop, of course, on the US side once they cross the bridge. And they have to fill out the bottom part, And that's what it is. So it's a bit complicated move. Because otherwise, if they don't do this, if I wouldn't have stopped and they just go to Canada, Canada would consider this as export, right? Like, wait a second, did you guys sell this machine? What's going on? And so they might, if the driver does not do his or her job properly, the customer may end up paying thousands of dollars in fees, and then there can be fines. And so basically, when you do cross-border shipments, you have to be very careful and follow the instructions that you're given by the freight broker, and in this case by the shipper. Because when I was loading this, the manager showed up, gave me all this extra paperwork and gave me something to sign, so they know oh, there's another heavy haul guy. Now there's a bunch of us, and of course that guy, by the way, Cabover, it's what it is. It's a Watson Transport. And then we have this guy over here. Can you see in the mirror? But that's like semi-serious heavy haul. The guy has a case, a tiny baby excavator on, look, do you see the yellow thingy in the mirror? So that's my thing, right? So my excavator, if you compare with the truck behind it, the excavator is bigger than the truck. Oh, cool looking Kenworth. Purple. So you can, nice. Flat roof. I don't like that. Yeah, it looks cool, but very, very bad for the driver, Unless you have a step down, right? Actually, that's one thing I like about Kenworth T800, is that even if you buy it like that with a flat roof, you don't need mid-roof. But T800, of course, has a much smaller cab, but I'm thinking if I ever buy another truck, I'll just get a T800. Oh, we have the guy here in the pickup truck coming. See? So that's who I need to get across. So they're gonna check your approval number, double check your weights on paper, and then they can let you go. And that's the bridge over there. So this is already Canada. See that street? I'm inside the customs facility, Canadian Customs, but that's the bridge that I just crossed. I had to follow this guy, and there's the guy in the red truck with the plain wing is in the front. They told me to bring up the rear because I'm the heaviest, and so we crossed everybody together, just keeping the distance. And so I'm behind this funny looking case excavator, and the chains on this thing seems like so tiny, and he just grabbed the lip. He just grabbed the lip on each side. And this is it, Canada, home sweet home. And my US Verizon tablet goes in here. And I have my Rogers Canadian tablet with the Keep Tracking, right? So all you gotta do is when you switch them, log out on the first tablet, and then when I start tracking, I will just log in on this one in the Keep Tracking. So my e-log kind of will be seamless. So for now I'm off. I'm gonna go and grab some brunch. And the sky looks pretty bad, I think it might start snowing or something.